Every single day, you make dozens of buying decisions, but here's the surprising part: most of them aren't as conscious as you think. Before you notice the price, compare the features, or read the reviews, your brain has already formed a first impression. In just a few seconds, it evaluates colors, packaging, familiarity, trust, emotions, and past experiences. That's why two people can look at the exact same product and make completely different choices. The biggest brands in the world don't rely on luck. They understand how the human mind works, and they design every detail to influence what customers see, feel, and remember. So the real question isn't, why do people buy? It's what makes one product feel like the right choice. In this chapter, we'll uncover the fascinating science behind consumer psychology and discover why understanding the mind is the foundation of great marketing. Let's start with a simple experiment. Imagine you're walking into a supermarket with a shopping list. You only need milk and bread. But 20 minutes later, you walk out with snacks, chocolates, a new drink, and products you never planned to buy. So what happened? Did you suddenly become irrational? Not at all. Your brain simply works in two different ways. Psychologists often describe them as System 1 and System 2. System 1 is fast, automatic, and emotional. It doesn't stop to calculate every decision. Instead, it reacts instantly to colors, attractive packaging, familiar logos, smiling faces, discounts, and past experiences. In just a fraction of a second, it asks one simple question: does this feel right? Then comes System 2. This is the slower, analytical part of your brain. It compares prices, reads reviews, checks product features, and thinks carefully before making a final choice. But here's the fascinating part. In most everyday purchases, System 1 makes the first move. System 2 simply explains the decision afterward. That's why a premium-looking package feels more valuable before you've even touched the product. A familiar logo feels trustworthy before you've read a single review. And a limited-time offer suddenly makes an ordinary product feel urgent. Great marketers understand this perfectly. They don't just sell products. They design experiences that speak to both parts of the human brain. Imagine you're standing in front of two watches. One costs $50. The other costs $5,000. Both tell the exact same time. So why would anyone choose the expensive one? The answer has very little to do with the watch itself. It has everything to do with how it makes the owner feel. The human brain doesn't simply evaluate products. It constantly asks emotional questions. Will this make me look successful? Will I fit in? Will people admire me? Will this make me feel confident? Only after those emotions appear does the logical brain step in to justify the purchase. That's why brands don't just invest in better products. They invest in design, storytelling, packaging, customer experience, and identity, because emotions create value long before logic compares features. The most successful brands understand one powerful truth. People may forget the product they bought, but they rarely forget how that product made them feel. And that's where consumer psychology becomes one of the most powerful tools in marketing. Look closely at any online store, and you'll start noticing a pattern. A red countdown timer, a product that's almost sold out, thousands of 5-star reviews, a huge discount that expires in just a few hours. At first, these look like simple marketing techniques, but they're actually designed to activate specific psychological responses inside your brain. A countdown creates urgency. Limited stock creates fear of missing out. Thousands of positive reviews create trust. And when you first see a high price before a lower one, the lower price suddenly feels like a great deal even if it isn't. The product hasn't changed, only the way your brain interprets it has. That's why successful marketing isn't just about creating better products. It's about presenting them in a way that makes the human brain say, "I don't want to miss this opportunity." Think about your favorite brand for a moment. Why do you keep choosing it, even when cheaper alternatives are available? Is it really because the product is always better? Or is it because your brain has learned to trust it? Every time a brand delivers a positive experience, your brain stores that memory. The next time you see the same logo, package, or advertisement, it feels familiar. And familiarity creates trust. Over time, trust turns into habit, and habit turns into loyalty. That's why some people refuse to switch from their favorite smartphone, coffee shop, or clothing brand, even when competitors offer similar products at lower prices. For these customers, the decision is no longer about features or price. It's about comfort, confidence, and consistency. This is the ultimate goal of consumer psychology. The greatest brands don't just convince people to buy once. They create experiences that customers want to return to again and again. And when that happens, customer doesn't just become a buyer. They become a loyal advocate for the brand. Every purchase begins with a thought, but it's emotions, memories, habits, and psychology that ultimately shape the final decision. The more you understand how people think, the better you'll understand why they buy. And that's exactly what separates great marketers from everyone else. Because marketing isn't about convincing people to buy. It's about understanding people so deeply that buying becomes a natural decision. In the next chapter, we'll explore how businesses use these psychological insights to build powerful brands that customers remember, trust, and choose again and again. Until then, keep learning, keep observing, and keep thinking like a marketer. Thank you for watching. Created by Surbhai Gupta.